PS4 Elite Series. My name's Expert and I'll be your commentator for tonight's race. We are here for round 15 of the Race Spec Esports Elite Series. As I said before, it is round 15 of the Singapore Grand Prix, located in downtown Core and Kelang. The times, actually I'm going to mute people because I can hear people talking. I do apologize real quick. Okay. Mute all, there you go, that's perfect. This track, this 5.063 kilometer track has 23 turns, if I'm correct. It is have 23 turns. And the race lap record held around here was set in 2018 by Kevin Magnussen, believe it or not, in the Haas Ferrari with a 1 minute 41.9. I'm not too sure what the qualifying lap record is. I'll try and find that for you. But anyway, there's 23 turns around the Marina Bay Street Circuit, so it will be an interesting one tonight. Definitely the longest race that we'll be doing. This should be, well, on the calendar normally. So this will be interesting tonight. I'm going to read out the championship standings for you as of Monza, which I do believe was round 13, by the way. I don't think the standings have been updated due to a few issues with the stewarding, so I do apologize for that in advance. But anyway, the driver's standings at the moment is, with no surprise, F1 Amazing Hour, who leads the driver's standings at the moment on 306 points at the top of the ladder. Then you have John Polina with a massive gap between these two on 138 points for the Haas F1 team. Then you have Plebs in the Renault sitting on 129, closely followed by Bullet Boy in the Racing Point on 125 in your top four. Then in fifth at the moment is the Ferrari of Eye Contrast F1, sitting on 105 points, and you have 40-22 on 80 points. In 7th for Mercedes is 73 points with Pete Crun. Mitolski, I think that's how you say that, I do apologise if I said that wrong, is in 8th for Williams on 65 points, Spilly in 9th on 51, and then rounding out your top 10 is Crossy F1 on 41 points. And you have Darren 11, who is one of the reserve drivers in this league, is sitting in 11th on 28. Then Aaron for Red Bull on 26th. LR Calzo is on 13 points. He is one of our reserve drivers. The Toro Rosso driver of Pure Gold in 14th. 15th is Lewis 11004. Romy Alonso in 16th. BRT Shapelet in 17th on 15 points. Andre GGMU in 18th on 14. Stuart McKenzie in 19th for Red Bull rather, and then Danny D rounds out your top 20 for McLaren on 9 points. So this should be an interesting round here. I'm actually going to read out the Constructors' Championship for you as the drivers are about to head out for their short qualifying session, 18 minutes. They will have to set the fastest lap time possible here around the Marina Bay Street Circuit, but it is Alfa Romeo that actually lead the way on 309 points, exactly 100 points ahead of the Renault F1 team in second on 209. Then third is the Racing Point team on 176. Haas in fourth. Fifth is Ferrari. Anyway, we have 13 drivers here this afternoon for the PS4 Elite Series. Qualifying session just begun as well, so we're going to be waiting for the drivers to head out for their session. You can see that's a McLaren driver there of Swaggy, I do believe, heading out. Boy, he's the first driver out as well, so quickest driver to put on a setup, in other words, for the qualifying session. He is going to be first on track, so he will be the first driver to set a lap time. Gonna ride on board with him as he is on his out lap now. He has opted to use the hard tyre, may I point out as well. So it's kind of a 50-50 at the moment on who's using hard tyres and soft tyres. So the top 6 at the moment are using the soft tyre, and the rest of them from 7th to 13th are using the hard tyre currently. You can see I Contrast F1 now is on his outlap as well for Ferrari. He's coming through the middle sector now. I do believe that was another racing point of Spilly, if I'm correct. No, it might have been Bullet Boy. It was Bullet Boy. Maybe not. I'm not too sure. Majority of drivers are on their outlap at the moment, besides Lewis, Plebs, and 1-2-0-0-4-6-2-3. One is now coming out of the pits, so now there is only 2 drivers that need to come out of the pits. But as you saw before, Swaggy was the first driver coming out of the pits, and now he's going to be the first driver to set a lap. Doesn't get through turn 1 very nicely. He gets a lot of oversteer on entry and exit. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Do apologise that I am streaming straight off the PS4. My PC is currently getting repaired, so I do apologise if the quality is not as good. But we're going to ride on board with Swaggy as he is the first driver to set a lap. In this afternoon's qualifying session. He's coming through the middle sector now. Definitely a little bit to improve as Swaggy cuts that corner very minorly. Gets very close to that inside wall, but does get a little bit of oversteer and exit. Gets very close to that wall on the right hand side of his car. One to watch as well, especially at the start of the race. You'll see a few drivers potentially be hitting that wall when they're going side by side into the hairpin. Uses all the exit available. Does hit the wall actually, so that could result in a little bit of front wing damage for the McLaren driver. Coming through sector 3 now. Under the bridge he went. Now he's going under another bridge. Through the final sector he goes. Now into the final corner. Runs wide on the first part, which is going to cost him a little time, but a little bit of time. You see, he actually did get his time. Unfortunately removed. He did not. He must have corner cut somewhere, but amazing how it goes to the top now with a 1 minute 37.644. Nice time there for Amazing Hour, but then Contrast actually goes fastest now with a 37 flat in Ferrari. So at the moment it is Contrast sitting on provisional pole for Ferrari. So McKenzie is now finishes lap for Red Bull. He set a 38.2, so he's going to have a little bit of time. He's got to try and find if he wants any chance of getting pole position here this afternoon. Plebs is now out of the pits as well, so he's going to be setting his lap soon. That was actually El Tonki there on a flying lap at the moment. He's got Storm McKenzie in front of him. He'll be getting a little bit of a toe off him. He gets out of the way, does the Red Bull driver. El Tonki coming through the second sector now. John Polainen now goes fastest with a 1 minute 36.44 Haas. Nice lap there from the Haas driver. Gets a lot of oversteer on the exit of the hairpin though. That El Tonki. Keep it to the left hand side to make sure you brake in a straight line. He's actually locked all the front wheels. That's going to cost him a bit of time and a little bit of wear coming towards the end of the lap. Rubs the wall on entry to the fastest hander. Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. I hope my mic quality is not too bad. Let me know in the chat if it is. I do apologise that I am streaming on the PS4 software and not my PC. It is getting repaired, as I did say before, so I do apologise for that. But El Tonki is now about to finish his lap. Where's this going to move him up to? Unfortunately that was not a quick enough lap to beat move him ahead of anyone that has set a time, so he is currently last out of the people that have set a time, sitting in P9 at the moment. But it is John Polainen that is sitting on provisional pole position at the moment for the Haas Ferrari team, Haas F1 team. Then it is I Contrast F1 sitting in P2 He's got about 6 tenths. He's got to try and make up. So he catch up to John Polainen in front of him. Then he's got Bullet Boy now, who's actually moved himself ahead of Amazing Hour into P3 for Racing Point. Nice up there from him. Then you got Amazing Hour sitting in P4. Storm McKenzie for Red Bull in 5th. 6th is Crossy in the Toro Rosso. Swaggy in P7 at the moment, who is on an in-lap if I'm correct. Then you got Pete Crichton for Mercedes in P8, who unfortunately didn't look like he set a very nice lap there, so he's going to have to go out for another run. El Tonki in P9 at the moment. He's on an in-lap if I'm correct. Then you got Lewis 11004, who is on an out-lap. Plebs now, who's on a fast lap, coming through the hairpin. I'll try and read your comments as much as I can, guys. He's coming through the middle sector now. Is Plebs, he sets a 1 minute 3.4 through the middle sector. That doesn't seem like it was too bad. Coming through the tricky part of the Marina Bay Street Circuit, slightly locks up the inside front tyre. Doesn't get around that left-hander as quickly as I think he would have wanted to. Under the bridge he goes, under the DHL board. Negotiates this quite nicely, actually. Does the Renault driver, gets it right up against the wall. He actually uses the brake there. Coming through the final corner, but he sets a 1 minute 35.9, a very quick lap there from the Renault driver of Plebs, but he definitely has a little bit of time to fight, and especially through that final corner. Normally, if you have a quick qualifying setup on, normally no brake is needed through that final corner. So everyone's going to have to step up their game a little bit if they want to catch up to Plebs, sitting on pole position at the moment. We thought John Polainen's time was pretty quick, but Plebs has absolutely smashed that. Try and find some drivers that are on a fast lap. As you can see, I do believe Amazing Hour is about to start a flying lap. We're going to ride on board with him for the start of his lap. Coming through turn 1 now. Keeps to the right hand side to open up the exit of the corner. Runs a little bit wide. Doesn't use all the exit as I think he would have liked to. Coming through this right hand now, very easy to lock the inside front tyres. Opens the DRS nice and wide. Very easy to lock the inside front tyres to that right hander as you are braking and turning at the same time if you aren't using ABS. Locks the inside front there. Again, does Amazing Hour. Same as this left-hander as well. It's very easy to lock the inside front as you are braking and turning. Very tricky track this is around the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Doesn't seem to be a very tidy lap from Amazing Hour, so we may see him come out for one more run towards the end of the session. Coming into the hairpin now, straight lines the entry, so he is braking in a straight line. Nicely done there by Amazing Hour. I do not think this is going to be a pole position lap time from the Alpha driver, as he has had a few mistakes. He doesn't seem to be using all the exit road around here, so locks the inside front again, does Amazing Hour, so he definitely seems to be struggling with some front locking at the moment. Coming under the tunnel, under the grandstand rather, under the DHL board. Just keeps it on track, or within the limits I should say. Coming through the final corner now. Very cautious through there, doesn't seem to be pushing too hard. Where's he going to move him up to? It's going to move him into the 1 minute 35s. Into P2, goes Amazing Hour. I do believe Contrast just finished a lap. I don't think he improved. Actually, he did improve on his time, but I don't believe that moved him up any spots. But now still McKenzie in the Red Bull is now on provisional pole position with the 1 minute 35.7, 2 tenths faster than Plebs' time at the moment. Nice job there from the Red Bull team. Plebs is in the pits. I do believe he's coming out. He is on an out lap, as you can see. John Polainen's on a lap now. Under the grandstand he goes, coming through sector 3. I do believe at the top right that said that he has improved on his time. He's 2 tenths up, as you can see at the top right of your screen. We point out as well, Storm McKenzie's actually opted to use the medium tyres, so that could be interesting when it comes to strategy. But he's going to come across the line now as John Polainen. He's 2 tenths faster, but unfortunately was not able to gain any positions in the end. So at the moment, Plebs is the only driver out of the front out of the top 4 that have opted to use the soft tire. So it is still Mackenzie on the mediums, F1 Amazing on the mediums, Bullet Boy on the mediums, and Jumpalainen is on the soft. So the top 5 consist of those drivers. If I contrast now, MP6, Swaggy has now gone the pole position for McLaren with a 1 minute 35.6. So there seems to be a few drivers at the moment that could be contending for pole position here for the Singapore Grand Prix. This is going to get interesting as the majority of the drivers will be setting their fastest lap times towards the end of the session. Pete Crichton, we have not seen a very good lap here from the Mercedes driver. Normally very quick when it comes to league racing, but he's not on a fast lap. I do believe this is his out lap as it is. Spilly has now set his lap 1 minute 36.8. Unfortunately, that was not a quick enough time. Therefore, the Racing Point driver is actually raining now at the end of the qualifying session. So this is definitely not going to be ideal for any of the drivers. Say Pledge is on an out lap now, but he's not going to get a timing because it's raining. It's pouring down now towards the end of the session. He's starting a lap, but it looks like it's just going to get worse and worse. He's going on with it. I don't know why he is. If I was him, I'd just back out of it. See, he's already screwed up his lap now. A few yellow flags, so that could be a few drivers going off. The majority of drivers are coming into the pit lane. I do believe Spilly may have had a little bit of an incident there. So Pete Crichton is going to be starting from the back of the grid, as you can see. Unfortunately, was not able to set a time when it was dry. Well, he did set a time, but it wasn't a quick one. So now Crossy is retired from the session, so I think he's just retired because there is going to be no more time found in the track. Lewis has now got a 5-place grid penalty for blocking the track, if I was correct. So I don't know why Contrast is coming out on the intermediates, but anyway. I say that looks like this will be the grid. As you can see, it is Swaggy that should probably take pole position here for the Singapore Grand Prix for McLaren. Very nice job there from him. Then it'll be Stuart Mackenzie sitting on the second row with him for Red Bull in P2 with a 35.7. Then you got Plebs, who will be sitting in P3 alongside Amazing Hour in 4th for Alfa Romeo. Then it will be Bullet Boy and John Palainen reigning at your 3rd row in 5th and 6th. I Contrast, who is going out to do an intermediate run. There could potentially be a few. It could potentially be wet for the race, so this could be a little bit of practice for the Ferrari driver. Unfortunately, with what we have here, it doesn't let us know what the track conditions are. So I think Peach is doing donuts at the moment, but anyway. Very unfortunate there for Pete Grun, so he's ideally going to be, well, pretty much going to be doing a last the first challenge here for this afternoon's Singapore Grand Prix. So it looks like this will be the grid here for this afternoon's Grand Prix. I think Swaggy's just doing a few drift sessions. He's definitely wasting tyres if he is, but anyway. As I Contrast there, spinning out at the hairpin. I don't know what Swaggy's doing, but anyway. I think Pete Crichton's trying to do a few drift sessions. Right on board with him, see. It's alright, Pete Crichton's drifting. Hasn't done too well. By the looks of it, can't Pete. Shasta drift. To the final sector. Along this right-hander, come on, drift it. Floor it. Oh, and he's spun out and he's hit the wall. There goes his front wing. He's doing alright, he's holding it. He's using a bit of front brake, so. Hold it. Oh, he didn't hold it. So Contrast is coming in the pits now. Hello everyone, welcome to the chat. Hello, Tyler Besley, 200 4623, Matthew Cox. You're going obviously for El Tonki. So where's he sitting at the moment? Unfortunately, he was not able to set a decent lap. Was the Alpha driver, so he's starting in P12. So, driver race, by the way. I'm not too sure who's saying that, but okay, I'm hoping you're telling the truth if you're one of the drivers. Good luck to you as well, Amazing Hour. Try not to run away with it this race. There's 28 seconds remaining in the session. Let's see what time 1 is able to do. He's coming to the final sector now. Seems to be setting a fast intermediate time. Actually, no, he's just put it into the wall, so very fast intermediate time there. Tyler is Bullet Boy? Okay, I'll try and remember that. There it is. Peak right now, we're waiting on him. I'm correct, and Swaggy, so hopefully they both retire and they don't make us do. I think Peak Ryan is out of fuel. Yes, he is actually out of fuel. He's a Mercedes driver, so hopefully he retires and doesn't make us go around for 15 laps. So I don't know what Swaggy's doing. He's got the fastest lap of the session at the moment. He's just wasting a set of soft tyres, but anyway. Can't Swaggy show us a few drifts. Because why not? Oh, he just held on to it. I don't think he has front wing. He doesn't have a front wing, so that's not going to help him. Peak Crichton somehow has his front wing after he's hit the wall about 30 times. Now Swaggy's retired, so we're just waiting for this man. And Peak Crichton has no fuel remaining in his car. But it is Swaggy that takes pole position here for round 15 of the Race Spec Esports PS4 Elite Series. Then it is Stuart McKenzie that rounds out your second row as well for Red Bull on a 35.7. There's a tenth between the two drivers as Pete Crichton puts it into the wall. Then you got Plevs and Amazing out rounding out your second row for the Renault and Alfa Romeo team. But very solid performance there from the McLaren F1 team, putting it on pole position for this afternoon's race. Very nice job from them. Then it is Bullet Boy, MP5 for Racing Point. Nice lap there from him. Then John Polainen rounds out your top 6 for Haas. Then I Contrast in 7th. Torosso of Crossy F1 in 8th. Spilly in 9th. And rounding out your top 10 is the other McLaren of 246.23. Then you got Pete Crichton in 11th. El Tonki in 12th. And unfortunately, Lewis did not set a time for this afternoon's race. So there is a look at your your results, I should say, for the Singapore Grand Prix PS4 Elite Series round 15. And let's head over to the grid. I'll just try and call you Juan. I'll just say Juan. Hello guys, welcome to the stream. If you guys are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications to get notified when Race Spec F1 Esports goes live. If you haven't noticed already, we are here for the PS4 Elite Series here for this afternoon's Grand Prix round 15 at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Juan. Let me know if that's right. Juan. Not Juan. Juan. I think that's right. But anyway. Don't be afraid to get active in the chat as well. I'll try and read as many comments as I can. But it is Swaggy that took pole position here for this afternoon's Grand Prix, ahead of Stuart McKenzie, as I read out before. according to my weatherman Bullet Boy, there doesn't seem to be any rain for the Singapore Grand Prix, or any rain predicted, I should say. Then it is Plebs sitting MP3 for Renault. Nice job from him. Then it's F1 Amazing Hour, who's going to want to make up a few more positions here. You don't normally see Amazing Hour out of the top 2, if anything, the top 1. But then it is Bullet Boy running a top 5 for Racing Point. Jumperlinen sits in P6, Eye Contrast 7th, Crossy F1 in 8th, then Spilly in 9th for Racing Point. Juan in P10 for McLaren. Then P. Crichton in P11, who is showing us a few of his drifting skills prior to, at the end of the qualifying session. He is going to be starting on the hard tyre as well, so that's going to be interesting to see what his strategy is. You can see now at the top left of your screen, you can see which driver is using what tyre. Then you have El Tonki for Alfa Romeo in P12, and unfortunately Lewis did not set a lap in the Grand Prix. He nearly loses it on the formation lap for Ferrari. Waiting for the drivers to finish their qualifying. It's not qualifying, Jesus. Formation laps. 31 laps ahead of these 13 drivers here for the Race Spec Esports PS4 Elite Series. You can see Swaggy backing them all up now to try and keep as much tire temperature in his car as he can. Let me know in the comment section or the live chat who you think will win the Singapore Grand Prix here in this afternoon's race. One to definitely watch coming towards the end of the race will be P. Crichton as well. He is the first. He's a very quick driver as well, and also the first of the drivers who had a free tyre choice for the beginning of this Grand Prix. Waiting for the light sequence to begin here now for round 15 of the Singapore Grand Prix. Light sequence is beginning. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, and they are underway for the Singapore Grand Prix. Swaggy gets a very nice start there. Looks like he's going to move or keep P1. As you can see, Amazing Hour's going down the inside of Plebs, but actually Plebs got squeezed there massively by the Racing Point of Bullet Boy. We're going to move down a little bit to see Plebs has kept P3, but now Bullet Boy and Amazing Hour are going to go at it coming into turn 4 rather. That's actually Contrast and Jumperlinen going at it side by side down the back straight. Jumperlinen looks like he has the edge at the moment, but now Juan looks like he might dive down the inside of Eye Contrast. No, he thinks better, but he's going to sit behind him for a little bit longer. P. Crichton moves himself ahead of the Racing Point of Spilly. He's moved up 2 positions already. Has a Mercedes driver now. Spilly has Lewis trying to go around his outside, but he's actually put it in the wall. Has a Ferrari driver, so that's unfortunate. He's going to have front wing damage already on lap 1. But it is Swaggy that leads Stuart McKenzie at the moment on lap 1. We're coming midway through lap 1. The top 5 haven't changed. The top 6, I should say, haven't changed. But Bullet Boy tried to dive down the inside of Amazing Hour, heading into the hairpin. Plebs is now starting to feel the pressure from Amazing Hour. Will he dive down the inside of Amazing Hour? He does. He gets moved done, pushes Plebs. Why did he's in the wall? Is Plebs coming into the fast right-hander? I don't think Amazing Hour gave him any room whatsoever on exit there. I'm not too sure what Plebs is doing here. I think he's trying to get it out of reverse gear. That's unfortunate for Plebs. He's got major front wing damage, as you can see on the broadcast. But now, Amazing Hour is definitely going to be investigated by the stewards post-race. But heading on to lap 2 now. It's Swaggy that leads the Grand Prix ahead of Stuart McKenzie in the Red Bull. Then it is Amazing Hour in P3, who is definitely going to be under investigation for potentially squeezing out Plebs there. Bullet Boy's moved up into P4 after that incident there with the Renault and the Alpha. Jumperlinen sitting in P5 ahead of a very fast charging Eye Contrast at the moment. Juan is now feeling the pressure from P. Crichton. They are on different tyre compounds at the moment. Oh, and they've actually made contact. Going through the fast right-hander there had Juan and P. Crichton. It looked like P. Crichton had actually been squeezed there by Juan. I don't know if a little bit of lag had a bit to play in that. But Juan definitely looked like he was squeezing Pete massively there, and I think they both actually have a bit of front wing damage there, so that's going to have to see Pete Crime and Juan potentially into the pits now. As you can see, that's Juan running wide on the exit of the double left-hander. I think he does have damage, does the McLaren driver, so he's going to be into the pit lane. El Tonki sitting in P11 at the moment. Plebs has now come in to the pits, if I'm correct. Or is he staying out for a bit longer? We're going to have a look at his front wing here. Actually, he's staying out on that damaged front wing, so I'm not too sure. He may be feeling somewhat comfortable at the moment with that front wing, or being able to continue with it. Then you have Lewis at the moment, who was unfortunately put in the wall early race. He has a lot of oversteer on exit, nearly hits the wall on the exit of that fast left-hander, but it is heading on to lap 3 now. It is still Swaggy that leads the Grand Prix ahead of Stuart McKenzie. Amazing how definitely doesn't seem to be catching as quick as he normally does, but the top 4 all converging on each other as they all set the fastest lap there. It went from Swaggy, McKenzie, Amazing Al, then to Bullet Boy setting the fastest lap. DRS is now enabled, so we're going to potentially see a few more overtakes happening. Top 5 are all within 1.5 seconds at the moment. So we're going to ride on board with Stuart McKenzie now. So he looks like he's going to be trying to make a move on Swaggy coming into turn 5. Will he hang it around the outside? No, he doesn't. Swaggy's deeper under brakes. But Amazing how it actually runs really wide there on exit. But unfortunately, McKenzie was unable to get that position on Swaggy. So he's going to have to sit behind him for a little bit longer. Bullet Boy is also putting on the pressure to F1 Amazing now. I contrast has a little bit of time. He's got to try and make up. John Polainen has actually made a pit stop, if I'm correct. No, I think he's made contact with someone there, because he was sitting in P5 ahead of I Contrast, but now Contrast in the Ferrari is moving himself up into 5th, so he's got a 2.4 seconds. He's got to try and make up to get ahead of Bullet Boy or catch up to that train. Spilly and Crossy are starting to converge on each other at the moment for the battle of P6. Pete Crichton in P8 at the moment, battling that little bit of front wing damage, if I'm correct. Plebs is still staying out. He definitely will be struggling with that damage, but he seems to be able, he's managing to maintain it as it stands. Heading on to lap 4 now. The top 4 have not changed. I Contrast. Actually, no, that's still McKenzie diving down the inside of Swaggy coming into turn 1. They made contact. I think Swaggy actually squeezed Amazing out. Sorry, not Amazing out. Still McKenzie there. I'm not too sure that Swaggy was prepared for the Red Bull to make a move on him there. So that's dropped Still McKenzie down to P5. Now he's going to have pressure from Spilly behind him. So now it is a 3-man race for the lead of the Grand Prix at the moment between Amazing Al, Swaggy and Bullet Boy. Contrast doesn't seem to be catching up to this front 3 train at the moment, but now he's been moved up into P4. Sorry about that. It's still Swaggy that leads the Grand Prix from McLaren, heading into Sector 3 now. Definitely the twistiest part of the track, but Bullet Boy is putting immense pressure on Amazing at the moment. He's getting right under that gearbox of the Alpha car. Bullet Boy definitely seems to be the quicker driver out of these 3 at this stage. Final corner they go. Swaggy runs a little bit wide on exit. Both Amazing and Bullet Boy have DRS on the race leader of Swaggy at the moment. Amazing getting really close to that McLaren. But Bullet Boy actually made a little bit of contact there with Amazing as I think they made a little bit of contact there. But Amazing looks like he's going to have a nice run coming down the straight. He's going to go to the inside. It's Amazing Bullet Boy is a little bit too far behind, but Swaggy tried to fight a little bit. He's going to try and dive down the inside as Swaggy, but unfortunately was not able to make that move stick. Now he's got Bullet Boy trying to get down the inside, heading into the hairpin, manages to keep the position though, so hopefully... Bullet Boy's going to have to try and make a move as quick as possible. He did cut that corner, so he will most likely get a warning for that. But Bullet Boy will not want to let Amazing Al get away. They're all keeping with each other at the moment. After this hairpin, there is a straight, so there could be a little bit of slipstreaming between these three. Look how close they are all getting to each other. None of them, unfortunately, seem to be close enough at the moment to try and make a move. Look how close he's getting his Bullet Boy. He made a little bit of contact with the rear wing or the gearbox of the McLaren there, did Bullet Boy. Putting immense amount of pressure on Swaggy, and Swaggy's putting an immense amount of pressure on Amazing at the moment. He actually hit the wall there, did Bullet Boy, so that could potentially give him a bit of front wing damage. But I do believe at the start of this lap, John Polainen set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I do not remember what the fastest lap was, but I do remember seeing it at the bottom of my screen. But if I have to be honest, Bullet Boy definitely seems to be struggling through that final part of corners, the final few corners. So that's costing him down the straight and into the next DRS zone. Oh, he's actually got down the inside as Bullet Boy. Swaggy left the door open, and Bullet Boy didn't need a second invitation to go down the inside there. Swaggy's running wide again, but he's also cut the corner as Bullet Boy. So that's going to give him another warning, but now he's going to go side by side with the McLaren driver heading into turn 4. He's going to, 5 I should say. He's going to try and defend it as Swaggy, but unfortunately doesn't have the pace at the moment to defend it. Bullet Boy moves up into P2. Swaggy will now have DRS on Bullet Boy, so hopefully if they can work with each other, they can try and catch up to Amazing Out and get back within that DRS. Contrast at the moment doesn't seem to be catching up to these front three. Doesn't have the pace at the moment, but he's definitely going to get caught. He's getting caught by Stuart McKenzie and Spilly in the Red Bull and Racing Point. Crossy is starting to jump onto the back of that train, same as Pete Crichton. John Polainen is nearly over a whole sector at the moment behind that little battle pack for P4, I should say. El Tonki at the moment coming through the hairpin. Then it's Dran coming through that exact same hairpin as El Tonki. So that's a little bit of a reference there for the gaps between the two drivers in P10 and 11. And Plebs at the moment sitting in 13th with a damaged front wing. Has he actually come in as Plebs? I'm going to... Hopefully if they get off this helicopter view, I can have a look to see if he's changing. He has actually replaced his front wing, has Plebs, so he's going to be really quick now. He was on the hard tyres, if I was correct, but Amazing how cuts that corner. So he's going to be on his last leg when it comes to corner cutting warnings. But Spilly has now got a 3-second penalty for the Racing Point, heading on to lap 7 of this Grand Prix. Bullet Boy and Swaggy are back within DRS range of Amazing Hour. Well, they were down the main straight, and he is for this back straight. This is only going to edge him closer and closer, but now John Polainen goes fastest with a 1 minute 40.436 for the Haas F1 team. So he's going to be trying to make inroads at the moment on John Polainen. Sorry, on Pete Crichton, but now Stuart McKenzie has got ahead of Eye Contrast heading into the second sector, so now that moves McKenzie up into P4. Contrast getting a bit of that dirty air effect there. Sitting behind that Red Bull, pushed him wide and got a lot of oversteer and understeer at the same time. Spilly's fallen off that train a little bit. He's going to have Crossy and Pete Crichton right behind him very soon. Stuart McKenzie is now going to try and make a few inroads on these front three. Yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. We're going to try and have a look to see what that was for. I'm not too sure what that was for. It might have just been a local yellow, but Bullet Boy now has a 3-second penalty, setting MP2 for corner cutting. He has been using a lot of the track limits as the Racing Point driver, so that's not very surprising if I had to be honest. He's definitely gaining on Amazing Hour. Swaggy, unfortunately, is falling off the back of that train a little bit. I think Juan has actually put it in the wall. He has actually put it on the wall on the exit of the hairpin. So now Plebs has now moved up into P12 on the medium tyre. Will we see a move from Bullet Boy? He's got DRS, but unfortunately I don't think he's close enough at the moment. Amazing Hour's running in overtake mode. Jumper line and Pete Crichton actually going at it. Actually, I should say Pete Crichton's now coming into the pit lane. The Mercedes driver doing a very early stop at the moment. Actually, I do believe he had a bit of front wing damage as well, so it obviously was affecting him a little bit too much. So now he's going to lose out to Altonki. It's going to be close between him and Lewis, though. Lewis does manage to get ahead, though, of the Mercedes driver. So now that puts Pete Crichton out of the points in P11. There's Plevs right there. See, I've actually never seen that view. I think that was a little bit of a glitch, but anyway. As you can see, Plevs can now see that Mercedes driver in front of him. First three seem to be evenly split at the moment. They're all around 0.8 of a second between each other. So the only thing that I think Swaggy's holding on by at the moment is that DRS. I think Spilly's coming into the pit lane. No, Crossy's just managed to get ahead of him. 4P6, the Spilly definitely seems to be struggling a little bit towards the end of the start of the race. If that makes sense. It probably doesn't, but anyway. I think Swaggy's actually fallen out of DRS range now to the front two, but Bullet Boy is definitely caught up to the rear of Amazing Hour. It's 5/10 between the front two drivers. Swaggy, I do believe, is out of DRS range. He is, unfortunately, so these two are just going to edge further and further away from the McLaren driver who was on pole position. Bullet Boy was unfortunately not able to make a move. He's getting a little bit of oversteer, well, a bit of sliding throughout the car, as you could see, going through that left-hander. Narrowly misses the wall there, does the Racing Point driver. They are on lap 9 of 31, 22 laps remain in this Grand Prix. He's right on the rear of him now, is Bullet Boy. He actually made a bit of contact there with Amazing Hour, so that definitely affected him a bit. Luckily was unable to make a move, was Bullet Boy, because I definitely think he would have been in a bit of trouble for a bump and run. Swaggy's lost around 5/10 already, heading into the third sector. The yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. Gonna try and have a look what that was for, and that was actually Altonki that locked the inside brakes. So now he had to go down the escape road. He used the reset the track, but I don't know what Juan's doing at the moment. I think Juan is somewhat rage quit, but anyway. On to lap 10 now, 21 laps remain in this Grand Prix. Spilly has now been passed by Jumper Line, and as he is in the pit lane, it's the Racing Point driver. We're going to ride back on board with Bullet Boy. He was unfortunately not able to make a move. Again, on Amazing Hour. They're sitting at the same gap, so it's definitely going to come down to who blinks first when it comes to pit stops. Still that yellow flag in sector 2, but that is for Juan, who's going to be lapped very soon if he keeps spinning around like that. Pete Crichton goes fastest now. MP8 and 9 here manages to get ahead of Spilly on the exit of the pit lane. Swaggy still sitting at that 1.5 second mark between him and Bullet Boy in front of him. Hopefully Bullet Boy will catch up to the rear of Amazing Hour. Yeah, he definitely seems to be struggling compared to Amazing Hour through this final section of corners, but that definitely could come down to the dirty air effect. Yellow flag in front of these drivers, so I do believe that is for Juan, who has unfortunately DNF'd from this Grand Prix. He's closer now, is Bullet Boy. Phil McKenzie is now in the pit lane for Red Bull. By the looks, and his Crossy is also in the pit lane. So by the looks of it, Pete Ryan is a little bit too far behind to make a move or get ahead of Stuart McKenzie or Crossy. Oh, okay, Juan just let me know that he's unfortunately had a bit of a brake problem there. As you just saw there, Bullet Boy actually had to brake to avoid hitting Amazing out, as he did run a little bit wide on the exit of the first hairpin. There's a yellow flag in Sector 2, and actually, that's Swaggy that has unfortunately retired from the session now. So I'm not too sure what's happened there for the pole sitter of this Grand Prix. There's obviously been an issue for the McLaren driver. That moves Contrast up into P3 and John Polainen up into 4. So I'm not too sure what's happened there for the McLaren driver is Swaggy, because he did drive down that back straight. But that's going to move everyone up a position. There's about just under 8 seconds between iContrast and Bullet Boy, so Contrast has a little bit of time. He's going to try and make up if he wants to catch up to these front two. But the Ferrari driver is currently sitting. Oh, they're actually both coming to the pit lane now. Does Amazing out and Bullet Boy. Into the pits. Both these drivers go. Bullet Boy's going to want Racing Point to give him the quickest possible pit stop here. They're actually right next to each other are the two drivers. Quick pit stop there from Bullet Boy. And Alfa Romeo driver of Amazing has actually been held in the pits. So I think he may have actually had a 5-second stop-go penalty. Did Amazing Hour, because he had been held in the pits for ages there. iContrast is also in the pits, and now Stuart McKenzie's undercut all of these drivers. He's moved himself up into P3. Bullet Boy has managed to stay ahead of him though, so he's actually gained so much time now as Bullet Boy, so he is in the theoretical lead of this Grand Prix. John Polainen had made a stop very early in the race, so he's probably going to have to make another one or hope for a safety car towards the end of the Grand Prix. John Polainen has done 9 laps on that set of mediums. So we'll probably see him go or try and stretch it around to lap 20-ish. Or as long as he possibly can, then chuck on a set of soft tyres for the end of the Grand Prix. But it is still John Polainen that leads the Grand Prix at the moment. We'll set this over 2 stops so you can see who has made a stop. It is Altonki now, the only driver that is still participating in the race that has not made a stop in P11, but he is on the hard tyre, so he's going to be going a little longer into the race than the majority of these drivers. But John Polainen did pit very early in this Grand Prix, so he's going to probably have to do a 2-stop at this stage. And unfortunately, the 2 McLaren drivers of Swaggy and Juan have retired from the session, so that's very unfortunate for the McLaren F1 team. That's definitely going to hurt them when it comes to the constructors' standings. There's a little battle pack starting to form here between iContrast, Crossy, and P. Crichton. Still is a little bit too far behind at the moment. Amazing how starting to catch up to the back of Stuart McKenzie. These two are good mates, may I'll point out as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if you did see Stuart McKenzie get out of the way of Amazing Out if he is clearly quicker. Yeah, it is Ghost. I definitely know Amazing Out has told me that Singapore is definitely not one of his stronger tracks, but still, it is very good to see, for once, Amazing Out not running away with it. Crossy and P. Crichton are going at it. Actually, I think that was Crossy that... I think P. Crichton may have a little problem there. I think he may have run wide on the exit of the hairpin, because now he's lost a lot of time to Crossy and Contrast ahead of him. He's going to start to fall into the hands of Spilly, so we're going to have a look to see if he has any front wing damage. Visually, it doesn't look like it for the Mercedes driver, so he must have just had an incident or had to go off into the runoff area at the hairpin. Pete Crichton now for Mercedes has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. That's actually Stuart McKenzie mounting the wall there on exit, so I think he actually had a bit of an oversteer moment there on the exit of turn 3, so he's got front wing damage now, has the Red Bull driver. That moves Amazing out up into P3, theoretically P2. Or net P2, I should say. Theoretically, it's definitely not the right word to be using. But Bullet Boy still leads this Grand Prix. There is 6 seconds between Bullet Boy and Amazing Al, so we'll see if Amazing Al can make that time up. They're both on the same tyre. They're both on the same age of tyre. So it'll be interesting to see if Amazing Al can catch up or make that 6 seconds up. John Polainen is starting to get caught now by Bullet Boy. It was 7 seconds last lap, and now it's down to 5.7 between John Polainen and Bullet Boy. As you can see, this is a gap now. John Polainen coming into turn 1 and 2, and Bullet Boy now coming into turn 1 and 2. See if Bullet Boy can see that Haas guy. As you can see, just saw him off in the distance there, heading into this corner now. You'll most likely see him down the straight, as you can see him turning that right-hander towards the end of the straight. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, and that's actually Spilly, who is unfortunately retired from the session, so I'm not too sure what's happened there. We're going to ride on board with El Tonki to see what's happened with the Racing Point driver. Wouldn't be surprised if he's put it in the wall. No yellow flags around at the moment. There's a yellow flag in sector 3, but whereabouts in sector 3 is the question. I think it's around this corner, hopefully. There is. It's through the final corner. I think Spilly had his incident, so Storm McKenzie actually came into the pit lane there, so that could have been a potential bit of a tangle there between McKenzie and Spilly. Don't quote me on that though. But now El Tonki moves himself up into P10. Basically, if you finish this race, you will gain a point. So he's got 21 seconds. He has to try and make up. Has El Tonki to catch up to Stuart McKenzie. Stuart McKenzie's coming for his second stop now. Onto the medium tyre. He'll be trying to go to the end of the race. John Polainen will probably see in soon. Stuart McKenzie has got a 3-second penalty for multiple corner cutting warnings. But it is now 3.2 seconds. He's gained nearly over a second and a half. Has Bullet Boy on John Polainen. Amazing Al has actually not been able to catch up to Bullet Boy. He's now out to 7.3 seconds. He's actually losing time at the moment, is Amazing Al. By contrast, he's still sitting around that 7-second mark. So he's not gaining or losing to Amazing Al at the moment. Crossy and Pete Crichton are going at it for P5. I'm surprised John Polainen's staying out this long. I'm not too sure what tyre he actually qualified on. But if I am correct, he did qualify on the medium tyre, so he's chucked on another set of mediums. So he's going to have to try and get it all the way for a soft tyre towards the end, because you don't want to put the hards on, because there's no point in race. There's no point. You're not going to gain any time at this stage on the hard tyres. I definitely agree with you there. Go 0-1. I mean, obviously, we don't want to jinx it for him, but Go01GT just said in the live chat, he definitely thinks this man, Bullet Boy, has been really consistent at the moment. He does seem to be one of our controller players as well, judging by his steering inputs. He's very smooth on the controller as well. The same as Amazing out, he is also on the controller as well. Heading on to lap 17 now are the drivers. 35 laps remain in this Grand Prix. 34, sorry. Plebs is now in the pits for his second stop, if I'm correct. He may have a bit more front wing damage, unfortunately. Actually doesn't, so he's just in for his second stop. Still McKenzie now goes fastest on that fresh set of medium tyres. Plebs is definitely going to be quick towards the end of this race as he is on a fresh set of medium tyres. The gap is now 1.7 seconds between John Blynen and Bullet Boy. See, that's the gap between the first two drivers. Let me know in the chat as well who you think's going to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix tonight's race in the real F1 world. But he actually has DRS now, does Bullet Boy, on jumper line, and so this is going to edge him ever so closer to the rear gearbox of the Haas driver. I don't think John Polainen will put up too much of a fight between him and Bullet Boy. Well, I definitely wouldn't if I was him, because they are on different strategies at the moment. He's running in hot lap at the moment. Is John Polainen. He actually locks up massively there to John Polainen, and he actually narrowly missed the wall. He may have actually made a little bit of contact with the wall to John Polainen, so he locked up the rear tyres, did the Haas driver, pushed him wide at the exit of the hairpin. You crash, trying to go into the pit lane. Oh, okay, Spilly. That's unfortunate. I'm assuming you didn't make any contact there with Storm McKenzie, just because Storm McKenzie was coming into the pits at the same time as you, so I don't know if you two had made contact at all. We have our first prediction for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Hamilton always does well at the Yas Marina, so my money on him to take the win. Although I'd love to see Albon snake a podium at the end of it. Oh yeah, definitely. To be honest, I definitely would like Albon on the podium. But hopefully it's another Brazil where all the front runners crash, except for Albon. I don't like Verstappen, I don't like Hamilton. I'm sorry, but I'm being very biased towards Albon at the moment. I like Bottas, he's good. But I feel like Hamilton's kind of had his day, same as Vettel. Well, I think more so Vettel has had his day, but now Amazing has moved ahead of John Polainen because he comes into the pit lane. Yeah, my prediction definitely would probably have to be Hamilton, as Bottas is starting at the back. We'll have to see. Verstappen's the future? Oh yeah, definitely, but you know, I feel like, in a way, Verstappen's... How do I say it? I'm trying to word it so it doesn't sound like I'm being super biased towards everyone else. Well, I am anyway, so I guess I can say it. But I feel like Verstappen only got into F1 because A, his dad was an F1 driver, and B, the money backing. But obviously that's the majority of the drivers, but anyway. He's very good at driving, but if you think about it as well, he is probably the future. Hamilton is too old and back. I think, don't worry, I agree, although I do like Max. I used to dislike him, but he's grown on me. The Red Bulls were matching the Mercs for straight line speed, but Mercedes were masters. He's a gun though. Yeah, yes and no. He has his days Verstappen, but definitely Albon for the win, if I have to be honest. Leclerc's a good driver as well. If I have to be honest, I wouldn't say I like, but I wouldn't say I hate Leclerc. That's the same with Bottas. But Albon deserves a podium after Brazil. We just need Vettel to take out Hamilton, which will pretty much confirm, in that case, Vettel's retirement next year. Which I definitely think Vettel will retire at the end of next year as well. Leclerc versus Verstappen rivalry. If I have to be honest though, in the next 10 years, yeah, definitely Spilly. I agree. But if I had to be honest though, I do think that, I know we're completely going off topic of this Grand Prix, but I do believe if they were both in the exact same car, I think Leclerc would have the edge on him, to be honest. But it is still Bullet Boy. On the topic of this, Stuart McKenzie's now moved himself out of Pete Crichton as he is coming through the exit of the pit lane is Pete Crichton. He's now put on the soft tyre. He's actually got a 5-second penalty now, has the Mercedes driver, as there is 11 laps remaining in this Grand Prix for crossing that white line, pit exit line. Yeah, I do think that if I had to be honest, Leclerc would definitely probably beat Verstappen in a battle if they were both in the same car, but that's all my opinion anyway. Saying it was the face of F1, but rich people. Okay, I'm not going to read that out properly, but anyway. Controversial Hamilton PU to dominate. Yeah, no. I think once Hamilton wins his 8th title, that will be it. He'll just beat Schumacher and then win one more, so he has the record, then he'll be out of F1. Vettel will be out of F1 next year. I'm 98% sure of that. I don't know who would replace him though, if I had to be honest. I don't think Vettel will go to 2021, but anyway. I'm completely going off topic. But it is Bullet Boy with 10 laps remaining in this Grand Prix who leads Amazing Hour. Amazing Hour has actually caught up a little bit to Bullet Boy, but it is currently not enough as there is 5 seconds between them. So Amazing Hour is going to have to pull out very fast laps. That's actually the gap there you could just see between the two leaders at the moment. So could Amazing Hour pull out a fair few quick laps to catch up to Bullet Boy? There's a yellow flag in Sector 3. We're going to have a look to see what that's for. And that's actually Lewis who's spun out on the exit of the final corner. I personally don't. I think Hamilton will. I agree, yeah, but I don't think Vettel will. I think next year's Vettel's last year. Well, I think no one really wants him in F1 anymore, to be honest. Unless if he's in title contention for next year, you could probably see him back. If Ferrari will get a new set of strategy members or strategists hired, I definitely think they could be fighting for titles. But then you can say the same as Red Bull. So now that definitely the second half of the season, the front three teams have definitely edged himself much closer. Amazing Hour's catching, yes, definitely he is. He's still around 5.2 at the moment, but Crossy and John Polainen are going at it for the battle of P4. No, I definitely do not see Hamilton at Ferrari. It will be the biggest shock of F1 history if that happens. But I definitely do not see Hamilton ending out for a Ferrari. Although of all the rumours, but anyway, we're going to run on board with John Polainen now. He's going to try and make a move on Crossy F1. For P4, they're going to go side by side, coming through turn 1 and 2, but John Polainen on the fresher tyres at the moment compared to Crossy. Definitely seems to have the more grip at the moment. Lewis and Bullet Boy have just got 3-second time penalties. Now, so actually, Bullet Boy, I believe he has 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds worth of penalties at the moment for Bullet Boy. So at this stage, assuming Amazing Hour doesn't have any penalties, I do believe Amazing Hour will win this Grand Prix. iContrast is running a very lonely race at the moment. John Polainen's only got 3 seconds. He's got to try and make up to iContrast, and he is on fresh tyres, fresh medium tyres. iContrast, we'll have a look, is on 10 lap old hards. So John Polinen definitely seems to be the quickest driver out on track at the moment. Pete Crine's come in for a fresh set of soft tyres as well. Plebs, unfortunately, is running a very lonely P9 at the moment as Pete Crine hits the wall on the exit. I'm trying to think of the... Jeez, I completely forgot where it was now. Anyway, El Tonki's has been lapped now by Amazing Art and Bullet Boy. Our contrast has about 17 seconds he has to make up to catch up to the lap car of El Tonki. John Polinen has already got that gap from 3 seconds to 1.3 seconds in about 2 sectors. So he's definitely a crap ton quicker at the moment than I contrast. John Polinen has done the two-stop strategy as he did have to pit very early in this Grand Prix. Pete Crine and Lewis is actually pitted now for P8, from P8 I should say, P7 rather. And now he's dropped behind Plebs and Pete Crichton. So Pete's got 10 seconds he's got to try and make up to Storm McKenzie. McKenzie's got 9 seconds to get up to Crossy. John Polinen is now within DRS range of the Ferrari of our contrast. Definitely seems to be the quickest on track at the moment is John Polinen. But unfortunately, the 3 DNFs we've had in this afternoon's Grand Prix is the 2 McLaren drivers of Swaggy and Juan, and also Spilly. Amazing how he's got that gap down to 4 seconds now. There's 6 laps remaining. 7 laps rather, remaining in this Grand Prix. He's catching Bullet Boy, but I think Bullet Boy's just driving to a time at the moment, if I have to be honest. But he might have to pick up a little bit of pace. As you can see, Amazing I can see Bullet Boy. He will see him again coming down the straight. That's 4 seconds. As you can see, off in the distance there is the racing point of Bullet Boy. By contrast, he's got John Polinen right behind him. He actually ran really wide there, did Contrast. Struggling with that tyre grip. He's going to go side by side, probably is John Polinen. Contrast tries to defend the inside, but unfortunately does not have the tyre grip compared to John Polinen. That is the battle for P3. John Polinen moved himself into that final podium position. I don't think he'll be able to catch up to Amazing Hours. There's 18 seconds between them two, unless Amazing Hour makes a mistake. Amazing Hours actually gained over a second that lap. So this could actually come down to the wire towards the end of this race between Amazing Hour and Bullet Boy. Standard Amazing Hour late race surge in pace. Yeah, definitely. And that's actually a Racing Point car. That's actually Bullet Boy. I do believe that was his right end plate. It's actually come off as Bullet Boy's end plate now. So now he's going to have a lot of oversteer he's going to have to deal with. I just saw a BWT front wing end plate fall off the car. Well, Amazing actually ran over it there. So Bullet Boy's going to be struggling with a lot of understeer now, especially with the right-hand turns. This is only going to help Amazing Hour. Plebs and Pete Crine are going at it now. And Plebs has moved himself up into P7 ahead of Pete Crine. Pete Crine's soft tyres definitely seem to be falling off a little bit now. So that moves Plebs up into P7. He's got 7 seconds. He's got to try and make up with 6 laps remaining in this Grand Prix to move up on Stuart McKenzie. So this is Stuart McKenzie coming through the final corner now. Sorry about that, I was clicking the wrong button. And now we're going to look at Plebs. This is Plebs coming through the final corner now. So that's the gap between the Renault and Red Bull car. 1.9 seconds now between the two leaders. If I have to be honest, if I have to do a prediction on how hard this overtake will be, I don't think it'll actually be too hard. I think Amazing Hour should probably get past Bullet Boy pretty easily, as Bullet Boy does have front wing damage. Pete Crine's actually come into the pits again. So I think he's trying to go for the fastest lap. He's put on another set of soft tyres. He's only dropped one position to Lewis, but I don't think he really cares at this point. He's just trying to go for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But he's clearly struggling there. Is Bullet Boy. He ran really, really close to the wall. This is where he lost his front wing, if I'm correct. 1.6 seconds, 1.5 seconds now between the two leaders, as you saw there. Bullet Boy did cut that corner, so that's going to add another warning to his list. He's definitely struggling. You can see the understeer he has coming through the final corner. This is the gap between the two drivers. There is 5 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. For the Race Spec Esports PS4 Elite Series, this is going to come down to the wire. Bullet Boy struggling with front wing damage. And he's got a very fast charging F1 Amazing Hour. Right behind him, gets right up against the wall again. Doesn't have DRS, does Amazing Hour, so he's going to have to sit behind him for another lap. Jumpalainen is not going to be able to catch up to these front two. We're going to have a look at Pete Crichton as well. Storm McKenzie's got a 3-second penalty. So as you can see, Pete Crichton trying to save a bit of fuel and DRS as well. He's running in 0 ERS to try and go for the fastest lap. So we're going to watch towards the end of the lap to see if he manages to get that extra point. It is 1.6 seconds between the two leaders now. He's actually pulled away a little bit in that middle sector, did Bullet Boy. So the aim for Amazing Hour now is to get within Bullet Boy's DRS range, which will definitely edge him. He's closer. This is where Bullet Boy will definitely struggle the most. Coming through this final sector, as it is heavily aerodynamically... What's the word? I can't even think of the word. It relies on a lot of aerodynamics on the car. He does not have DRS as Amazing Hour, but it is down to 0.8 of a second. So unfortunately, when he crossed the detection line, he was not within a second. But if I'm correct, he will be within a second coming into onto the second DRS range. As you can see, the DRS pops up at the bottom right of your screen rather. He's going to edge him even closer to Bullet Boy. Bullet Boy's running in no ERS at the moment, so he's trying to save as much as he can so he can use it through the middle sector. He's actually backed out of it as Bullet Boy, so I'm not too sure why he backed out of that there. Unless the only thing I think he's thinking, because he does have time penalties, may I think, or do I think Bullet Boy? So I think he's going to try and just not battle Amazing Hour at all, because the more time they battle between each other, they're not going to be able... He's just going to lose more time to John Polainen. So at this stage, I do believe he will maintain P2, as does Bullet Boy, if he can keep that 12-second margin between him and John Polainen. Now that moves F1 Amazing Hour into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix, with 4 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. You think Bullet Boy couldn't defend the damage? Yes, that, but then also he does have time penalties he has to owe as well. So I think the more they battle, the more time he's going to lose to John Polainen. So I definitely think that was a smarter move there from Bullet Boy. He knew he wasn't going to win that race, so he's better off just handing it over to Amazing Hour in a gentleman way. So I don't think Pete Crichton managed to get that fastest lap of the Grand Prix either. A lot of oversteer on exit there, did Pete Crichton. It's locked up into the hairpin. So very scruffy lap there from the Mercedes. So Plebs has 3 seconds between him and Storm McKenzie. So they have 3 laps remaining in this Grand Prix now, as Amazing Hour starting his 28th lap. No drivers seem to be pretty close to each other at the moment, unfortunately. I think Pete Crichton at the moment, if he's going to do anything, I definitely think he's got to back off now, try and save a lot of ERS and fuel, and try and go again. The more laps he does, the more tyres, or the more tyre wear he's just going to put onto the tyres. El Tonki's been lapped, unfortunately. He's 1 minute and 7 seconds down. from the lead of the Grand Prix. Sorry, to Pete Crichton, I should say. So Bullet Boy's got 10 seconds between him and John Polainen. So if I'm correct, he has a 5-second penalty and a 3-second penalty. So that's 8 seconds worth of penalties there. So he's got to keep that within 8 seconds, or that gap over 8 seconds towards the end of this race. John Polainen will be pushing as hard as he can. He probably won't know at this point that he has time penalties, but he'll just be pushing as quickly as he can. High Contrast running in a comfortable P4 at the moment, same as Crossy in 5th. Then you got the Red Bull of Stuart McKenzie in P6. Plebs at the moment in P7, who is sitting at around 3 seconds between him and Stuart McKenzie. 2 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. 3 laps rather. I should have said 4 laps last round, but anyway. Yellow flag in Sector 3. Who's that for? I think that was for El Tonki, who I think put it in the wall potentially, or may have had a little bit of an incident. But anyway. Pete Crichton just trying to finish this race now, I believe. Unfortunately, has given up a position to Lewis, trying to get the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but was unable to. And now, unfortunately for John Bullet Boy, that gap of 8 seconds has already gone. It's already down to 7 seconds, I should say. So at this stage, I believe Bullet Boy is going to drop down to P3. I think he's got enough of a gap to High Contrast, but we'll have to see when it comes towards the end of the race. Say, John Polainen's tyres will start to be wearing a little bit now as they're 10 laps old. But the top 5 drivers, as you can see, have all moved up 3 positions. But at this stage, the driver of the day is actually Lewis, who has moved up 5 positions, the most out of anyone sitting in P8. Who's running a stock setup, Zach? Is it Pete Crichton? Probably is running a stock setup. But anyway. Heading on to the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix now. It is F1 Amazing Hour. So that battle Ghost 01, Ghost GT didn't last very long between the Bullet Boy. Unfortunately, picked up that front wing damage and cost him a lot of time. John Polainen's actually already got 4 seconds between him and Bullet Boy. See, that's Bullet Boy exiting that hairpin now, and now John Polainen is exiting the hairpin. So if Bullet Boy makes a mistake in this final section or this final lap, he could actually catch up to Bullet Boy potentially. Yes, Apex Ricardo, this is on PS4, the PS4 Elite Series. Unfortunately, I do believe the Elite Series is invite only, but the way you can move up in the ranks to get into the Elite Series is joining our Pacific Series. If you go into our description, so not the description of the YouTube videos, the drivers are heading onto their final lap of the Grand Prix. If you go into the About section on the Spec F1 Esports channel, there will be a link there that should say join our league. If you join through that link and then join our Pacific Series or wherever you're from, we have a Pacific Series, European Series, American Series, and loads more others. We have an F2 Series, we have a 2010 Classic Series. Now Mackenzie has a 3-second penalty down in P6, so that should move him behind Plebs, and if I'm correct, Plebs does not have any time penalties either. So I do believe El Tonki's getting lapped for the 2nd time now. It's unfortunate there for the Alfa Romeo team. That's Pete Crichton, they got lapped there by Amazing Hour, trying to go for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but unfortunately was unable to do so. I'm actually going to have a look to see who has the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It is currently... Actually, it is Pete Crichton. I must have completely missed it, but he does have the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Does Pete Crichton. But it has gone down a lap, so he's going to be taking home 3 points for this Grand Prix. But it's F1 Amazing Hour that is just got to negotiate the final section of the corners. Coming through the final corner now. Can he negotiate this without spinning? Yes, he can. Amazing Hour takes the win here for the PS4 Elite Series around the Singapore Grand Prix. Bullet Boy is going to come home in P2, but then he will be dropped back down to P3 as John Polainen, as Bullet Boy did have time penalties. So now John Polainen moves up into P2 for the Haas F1 team. Very nice job there. Made the two-stop work, did the Haas driver. So congratulations to Amazing Hour and John Polainen, same as Bullet Boy. Contrast comes home in P4 for Ferrari. Nice job from him. Crossy moved up into P5. Nice job from him as well, taking home P5 for the Toro Rosso team. We're going to have a look to see the position change, but at this stage it is Lewis that will take home driver of the day, as he's moved up the most positions in this Grand Prix. This track is BS. It's the next Monaco, and Plebs now has actually set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix right at the end. So very nice job there from the Renault driver of Plebs. So he's going to take home an extra point. He's taken that point off Pete Crichton. So he's not going to be happy with that, if I have to be honest. Pete Crichton will not be happy with that in any way whatsoever. But anyway, nice job there from Plebs. He'll take home an extra point to his championship standings. But it is Amazing Hour that took home the Singapore Grand Prix for the Race Spec Esports PS4 Elite Series. Congratulations to our top 3 place getters of Amazing Hour, John Polainen and Bullet Boy. But now we're going to take a look at our provisional race results here for the Singapore Grand Prix. Amazing Hour took home the win here in the Marina Bay Street Circuit. Then it just in front of John Polainen for Haas, who managed to get the 2-stop working nicely into his favour ahead of Bullet Boy, who unfortunately had 9 seconds worth of penalties in the end. So that's unfortunate for him. Icon Trust came home in P4 for Ferrari. Then rounding out your top 5 is the Toro Rosso of Crossy F1. Plebs comes home in P6 for Renault, but also managed to take the fastest lap away from Stuart. What's his name? Pete Crichton, sorry. And on the last lap of the Grand Prix, he's going to take home an extra point for Renault. Stuart McKenzie in P7 as well for Red Bull. P8 is Lewis in the Ferrari. P9 is Pete Crichton, who is going to take home 2 points in this Grand Prix. Then rounding out your top 10 is El Tonki and the last of our finishing drivers. And then we have our 3 drivers that unfortunately did not finish a race of Spilly, Swaggy, and Juan for McLaren. If you guys are new around here, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications to get notified when the stream does go live. If you would like to join, head over to our About section on our Race Spec F1 Esports YouTube channel, and there will be a link there that should say join or sign up here, and it will take you through the process on how to join. But thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Expert, and I will see you guys next time.